A man received an invitation to his daughter's birthday party, but he decided to cancel on her because of work. A few years later, he ran into her and realized that he had made a terrible mistake. What did he do next? Let's find out. Hello, friends. Welcome back to our channel. We've got another interesting story for you. So before we start, please subscribe so you won't miss any new stories. In the rat race of modern life, ambition and duty often overshadow what truly matters. Relationships. Today we'll revisit a tale that tugs at the heartstrings. It's a story about a father who missed his daughter's birthday party because of work, only to realize years later how his choice had impacted them both deeply. So let's dive into the heartwarming details and find out why his daughter never forgave him. David was a man on a mission, relentless in his pursuit of professional excellence. He was a high achiever, always climbing the corporate ladder with unmatched dedication, managing high-level deals for a Fortune 500 company. His career thrived on 14-hour days and unwavering focus. For David, success wasn't a destination. It was a journey fueled by an insatiable drive to conquer new heights. Amidst the whirlwind of his career, David was a devoted husband and father. His love for his wife, Sarah, and his daughter Emma ran deep, grounding him amidst the turbulence of the corporate world. Yet as David's career trajectory soared, his responsibilities grew, leaving him with less time for his family. Weekends were spent reviewing contracts and evenings were filled with conference calls, all in the name of providing a better life for his loved ones. For David, the concept of family was his anchor. He was determined to offer his daughter Emma and wife Sarah the very best. To him, they weren't just family members, they were the compass guiding him through life's storms. His dream was to secure a future where they wouldn't have to worry about anything. "Daddy, can you come to my birthday party?" A simple question from his young daughter Emma tugged at David's heart. Balancing his roles as a devoted father and a ruthless businessman was an art form. For David, each decision was a tightrope walk between two worlds, one defined by towering skyscrapers and million-dollar deals, the other by piggy rides and bedtime stories. David's daughter Emma was the sunshine of his life. Her laughter echoed with innocence, and her hugs were the warmest reminders of what truly mattered in life. However, as Emma grew older, her understanding of her father's absence began to deepen. The hollow feeling in her heart grew larger with each passing year. The once innocent questions about her father's presence transformed into silent disappointments. David's unwavering commitment to his career led him to the corner office he had always envisioned. But the panoramic view did little to soothe the ache in his heart. Knowing that he was missing Emma's milestones, looking out at the city lights, he couldn't help but wonder if there was more to life than the cold glow of success. It was Emma's 10th birthday, a milestone in any child's life. Yet the joy of the occasion was lost on her. As she waited anxiously for her father, David, to arrive, her hopes dwindled with each passing minute. Her mother, Sarah, tried her best to console her, but Emma's disappointment was palpable. The handmade invitation with a picture of them cutting a cake together lay unopened on the table, a symbol of her father's absence. The weight of David's absence pressed heavily on Sarah. Witnessing her daughter's disappointment was heartbreaking. Sarah understood the importance of the day, not just for Emma, but also as a potential turning point in her marriage. It was a test of their partnership and the values they were instilling in their daughter. As David raced through traffic, his phone vibrated with a series of texts from his wife, each one a gentle reminder of what he was missing. His heart ached, torn between the promise of a big promotion and the unspoken pleas from his wife and daughter. The cityscape blurred before his eyes, each building he passed reflecting the harsh glare of his ambition. Upon arriving home, David was met with a heartbreaking scene. Emma, his darling girl, was asleep, clutching the untouched slice of birthday cake meant for her father. The sight of his daughter's disappointment etched itself onto his soul, a stark reminder of the cost of his ambition. Emma's reaction to her father's absence was a mix of confusion and sadness. At 10 years old, she couldn't grasp the complexities of his work, but she knew she wanted him at her party. The absence left a void that no amount of gifts could fill, shaping a deep-rooted resentment towards her father. Years rolled by and Emma blossomed into a beautiful young woman. However, the warmth in her eyes had dimmed, replaced by a guarded demeanor. The birthday incident had left a permanent chill in her relationship with her father. Trust, once broken, was difficult to repair. The silence between Emma and her father grew, becoming a chasm that neither could seem to bridge. Simple gestures like a birthday card or a phone call went unheeded, adding layers to the wall that separated them. Their shared history, once a source of comfort, became a painful reminder of their fractured bond. As Emma stepped into adulthood, the desire to break free from her father's shadow loomed large. College offered her a chance to forge her own path, to create new memories and connections that didn't echo with the disappointment of the past. Saying goodbye to her parents felt like severing ties with a painful past. Upon returning home during Christmas, David hoped to reconnect with his daughter. He carried with him the warmth of holiday cheer and the promise of a heartfelt reconciliation. But Emma's absence only deepened the shadows in her parents' home, leaving David to confront the ghosts of missed opportunities. Stepping into Emma's old room was like stepping back in time. The walls were adorned with drawings, each stroke a testament to a bond once shared. The small box held a treasure trove of memories. Inside was the meticulously crafted invitation to Emma's birthday party, its colorful hues now dulled by time. David's heart constricted as he realized that despite his efforts, he had failed to make his presence felt in his daughter's life. As David sat in Emma's empty room, the weight of his decisions from years past crashed down on him. The silence wasn't just deafening, it was a stark reminder of the distance he had created. The Christmas tree stood adorned in the corner, a cruel juxtaposition to the coldness that had seeped into his relationship with his daughter. The discovery of the untouched birthday cake was a revelation for David. It was a tangible symbol of the emotional neglect he had inflicted on his daughter. The realization hit him with the force of a tidal wave, threatening to drown him in remorse. David's attempt at a Christmas Day visit was met with disappointment. The home he had once shared with Emma was now a place of echoes and regrets. The joy of the holiday season seemed distant, replaced by the specter of his failure as a father. The elaborate decorations served only to highlight the gaping hole left in his daughter's absence. As the years passed, David's world narrowed. Promotion after promotion had brought him to the pinnacle of his career, yet his triumphs rang hollow. The joy of success was diluted by the constant ache of Emma's absence. His grand office and luxurious home became gilded cages, trapping him in a life of solitude. Now a seasoned executive, David found himself at a crossroads. Success had come at a steep cost, the sacrifice of his most cherished relationships. The silence from his daughter was deafening, a constant reminder of his lapse in judgment. He was successful, yes, but at what expense? One rainy afternoon, driven by a desperate hope, David decided to revisit Emma's life. He tracked her to her apartment, carrying with him the hope of reconciliation and a bouquet of her favorite lilies. But the sight that greeted him was one of an empty apartment. No signs of life, no laughter, just silence. The discovery of the eviction notice was a stark reminder of the depth of his failure. The apartment, once filled with the promise of a new life for Emma, was now vacant, echoing the hollowness in his own existence. It was a physical manifestation of the emotional disconnect he had caused. As David retraced the steps of his daughter's life, he encountered fragments of her presence everywhere. The local coffee shop where she had studied, the park bench where she used to read, each location whispering tales of a life he had missed. The vibrant colors of Emma's life seemed to mock him, emphasizing the gray monotony of his existence. The weight of his past actions pressed heavily on David's shoulders, turning his triumph into a burden. He had reached the pinnacle of success, but the applause meant nothing when his greatest accomplishment was his daughter's achievements. In the quiet solitude of his grand but lonely house, David grappled with the consequences of his choices. The sprawling rooms seemed to mock him, a constant reminder of the shallowness of his success. Each ticking clock chimed a requiem for the moments he had wasted. On an ordinary day, as David sorted through old photographs, he stumbled upon a hidden treasure trove, a collection of his daughter's childhood artwork. Among the drawings, there was one that tugged at his heartstrings. It was a depiction of a family, imperfect yet heartwarming, with a small note Daddy, I love you." The realization of his shortcomings as a father washed over him with the force of a tidal wave. He had sacrificed his relationship with his daughter for professional success, and now he was paying the price. The drawing served as a stark reminder of the emotional cost of his ambition. Overwhelmed with remorse, David embarked on a journey to rectify his mistakes. Starting with the smallest gestures, he sent flowers to Emma's workplace and attempted to rekindle their relationship. He reached out to his ex-wife, expressing his regret and desire to rebuild trust. However, Emma's response was a mixture of skepticism and resentment. While she acknowledged her father's efforts, she found it hard to forgive him for the years of emotional neglect. The damage done over time was deep, and healing the wounds was a long and arduous process. Despite the initial frosty reception, David persisted in his efforts to reconnect with his daughter. He attended her art exhibitions, offering words of encouragement and support. He listened patiently, letting her lead the pace of their relationship. Years passed and David's patience bore fruit. Slowly but surely, Emma began to open up. The barriers she had built around her heart crumbled, revealing the loving and forgiving daughter she had always been. The bond they had once shared started to heal, stitch by stitch. Though the scars of the past remained, David cherished the progress. He had a second chance to be a part of Emma's life, and he vowed to make the most of it. The love between father and daughter, though tested by time, had endured. David's story serves as a poignant reminder about the importance of balance in life. Success, however glorious, is meaningless without the presence and love of family. His journey underscores the profound impact of our choices and the everlasting bonds of familial love. We've reached the end of another touching story. How did you feel after listening to it? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Before you leave, please subscribe and leave a like. Your support means everything to us.